Now in this example, I want to show you how to calculate the equivalent resistance when we have identical resistors in a circuit. Calculate the equivalent resistor of 2, 3, 4, and 5 60 ohm bulbs in parallel. What is the simple relationship for the equivalent resistance of n equal resistances in parallel? So whenever we have 2, 3, 4, and 5 resistors, if we have in the first case, we're gonna have something like this. So in that case, it's gonna be 1 over RT equals to 1 over 60 plus 1 over 60. That's gonna be 2 over 60 or 1 over 30 when you reduce it. So RT is gonna be 30 ohm. So the equivalent resistance is gonna be 30. Now in the second case, when we have 3 resistances, 60, 60, 60, so 1 over RT is going to be 1 over 60 plus 1 over 60 plus 1 over 60. That's going to be 3 over 60. When you reduce it, it's going to be 1 over 20. So RT is going to be 20 ohms. Next one, when we have 4 resistors. So 1 over RT equals to 1 over 60 plus 1 over 60 plus 1 over 60 plus 1 over 60. That's going to be 4 over 60, or when you reduce it, 1 over 15. So total resistance or equivalent resistance is 15. And finally, when we have 5 resistors connected to each other, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 over RT equals to 1 over 60 plus 1 over 60 plus 1 over 60 plus 1 over 60 plus 1 over 60. 5 times. So it's going to be 5 over 60. When you reduce it, it's going to be 1 over 12. So equivalent resistance is going to be 12. As you see here, in parallel circuits, whenever we increase the number of resistors, then equivalent resistance is gonna go down. That's completely different when we have series circuit. In series circuits, any resistance that you add to the circuit, your total or your equivalent resistance is gonna go up. But in parallel circuits, it's gonna be totally different. When you add the resistance to the circuit, parallel circuit, the equivalent resistance is gonna go down. So it is changing all the way from 30 to 20, 15, and 12. So that's going to be the relationship. So how to find out the generic formula? We can say RT, which is the equivalent resistance, equals to Ri, which means that the resistance of each resistor, divided by N, which is the number of resistance in the circuit. So that's the general formula whenever we have identical resistors in a parallel circuit. That's how we calculate the equivalent resistance.